It's a dark time to be a climate person in the US. 3 years ago, the mood was jubilant, euphoric. It was like, wow, we've really achieved something generational. This is the most ambitious climate policy we've seen anywhere in the world.
Big changes for millions of Americans after President Joe Biden signed a major bill into law to address climate change.
Embedded in the legislation was a historic $570 billion potential investment in the U.S. households and in electrification. That would never have happened without Saul Griffith.
It felt like there was momentum. All of that has turned around in the last 12 months, really.
President Trump has repealed U.S. power to regulate climate in this country, the president officially rejecting the science.
It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world.
All of my colleagues in the climate movement here, they're feeling pretty bad because it's demonstrably been destroyed.
Saul is an Australian and American inventor. In 2007, he was awarded the MacArthur Genius Award.
You can feed this down your shirt here.
All right.
Saul has been working at the cutting edge of this incredible transition for many years.
Saul's work, it can be an up and down process, and I think America has been very difficult for him. Australia is so lucky to some extent to be where we are.
And so this is a bit of a pep talk that it's all possible. This is a postcard from the future. And when I say the future, I mean today in Australia and many other parts of the world.
What Saul's achieved isn't a story of just Saul inventing stuff by himself. It's a story of Saul actually galvanizing groups of people to get stuff done.
Okay, we need electric-powered music. Oh, outside, yeah.
We've got a up and running pilot that when we first, were talking to you, it was just a concept that we were working hard on as a bunch of volunteers. And then it's actually just kickstarted a whole lot of other things nationwide.
It's a lot of 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. But then if you're not maintaining optimism, you're giving up. So there's a little bit of you just have to keep saying, we can do this. We've shifted the slope and we're on the way up, but we're just not doing it fast enough.
Saul is always juggling many balls. His brain is constantly spinning.
Guys, I need 3 minutes.
Saul's been running Other Lab for the past decade or more in the United States. They do a lot of usually climate-related projects.
I'm Saul Griffith, presenting Project Power Chord. It's an R&D company. We develop new technologies, and when those technologies show promise, commercial promise, we spin them out into startup companies and then help them launch into the world.
Saul continues to work as an integral part of Rewiring America. He's very actively engaged with our strategy for electrifying our country.
I lived and worked in the US from 25 till about almost 50, so 25 years. I really thought I had wholly committed to the US, but our family weren't really happy in San Francisco, and we just decided that, combined with COVID, we thought, well, let's give Australia a go, at least until COVID blows over. And so we moved just north of Wollongong. We found we really loved it.
Coming to Australia, it was just a natural evolution of what he's doing. I mean, he just looks around wherever he is and says, hey, how can I fix things here?
One of the most common topics of conversation at the beaches around here is, isn't the water a little bit too warm for this kind of year?
I kind of knew him as like a Silicon Valley character who was an Australian that had done amazing work in the USA.
Some local parents came to me and they said, is there something better we can do for more near-term climate action?
This hyperlooping policy never works at community level.
And I said, well, why don't we see if we can organise our own community to become Australia's first all-electric zero-emission community?
And we can even maybe get some help from the state government, federal government.
We all just straight on and said, great, that is we can do that.
For honestly what would be the first community in the world to really commit.
Most of us are parents, and we're all really committed to pragmatic solutions to the climate crisis.
Communications and protocols to work with the grid.
The general population would like some optimism. They would like to know, what can we actually do? One really obvious way to get to zero emissions in households is to electrify all of our machines that currently burn fossil fuels, and then to produce all of the electricity for those machines with renewables.
Saul is a compulsive optimist, which I think is why he is able to do this work. But he's not the kind of optimist who says, oh, technology will solve all our problems. You know, he's saying, we can solve this if we all work together.
We didn't grow up anywhere fancy. We grew up in the southern suburbs of Sydney, and it was my sister and I.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, love.
My mum was an artist.
Hey, gorgeous.
Hi.
I learned from my mother a genuine appreciation of art, of architecture, of the natural world.
Whenever we got a chance, it was school holidays, we'd pack up the car and we'd go camping. It was very much a nature-based environment. I would never tolerate children who said that they were bored. If you dare say you're bored, you must do something useful with your time. And Saul was never bored. He always found projects to do.
Dad is an engineer and academic. Enjoyed fiddling and tinkering and engineering on weekends.
They're still resolving who lost the Allen keys in 1995, and I'm pretty sure it was him.
It could be true, but I'm not admitting it.
I learnt to swear and to misplace tools from my father. I also learned from him to not fear any machine.
Rhonda the Honda. We inherited this car with a condom on its exhaust pipe when I was 15, and it was the project by which I avoided studying the HSC.
So we basically pull it apart and put it all back together again.
I remember falling into pieces and you coming home and telling me I did it all wrong.
Maybe.
But we managed to get it back together, and it ran.
When it was finished, that little wreck looked brand new.
We had a fearless approach to anything in my childhood that was broken. We just we'd fix it. Or if we needed a thing that didn't exist, we'd make it.
That should fix it.
It's a bit trite to say that learning how a car works is important, but if you approach it and deal with the science and the engineering involved, he learned a lot.
I first studied metallurgical engineering at the University of New South Wales. Then I bummed around the world for a little while, came back and started an advanced degree at Sydney, but while I was there, I got accepted on scholarship to go to Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
MIT is such an extraordinary place. I mean, it's a gathering of all the nerdiest nerds.
It was my first experience of an education environment where everyone loved being there because it was making them realize their dreams. I met Arwen on Halloween 2001. She was an undergraduate student from Harvard. She told me that on our first date, that she wanted to have children that were like me, and then she remembers being like, whoa, that means I have to marry someone like that.
I remember one of our first weekends together, we met up in Florida. And the thing that really got across what a unique mind he had was we were sitting on the dock looking out at the sunset. And I said, oh, what are you thinking of? And he said, well, I was thinking that if we lived on a planet with different rules of gravity, I could hold you out over the water so that you could dip your toes in the way that I'm doing so you could experience this amazing ocean, you know, because he has longer legs. And I thought, oh, that was not what I was thinking. Early on, I just thought I will never be bored with this guy, and I never am. Sometimes I would like to be slightly more bored.
I'm Tim Anderson. I'm Eric Wilhelm. I'm Saul Griffith from Squid Labs. We have the capacity to make almost anything.
Over the summer of 2004, myself and 3 colleagues from MIT moved to San Francisco to start Squid Labs.
All right, great.
Squid Labs really was a bucket of ideas that paid enough of a salary for us to figure out what we were doing and then create very focused startups. I was the most interested in energy and climate technologies. We could see all of the ecological crises that we're now experiencing coming. You know, as the engineer, well, what do we do to fix this?
We still have an energy crisis, and now we have a climate crisis as well.
And then the 2008 financial crisis hit, and there was sort of differing ideas about how to tackle it and where the money was going to come from to continue it. And Saul ended up stepping down right as we had our first child. So we literally had a newborn, and Saul didn't have a job, and he decided that he was going to start a new company.
Other Lab started on Earth Day 2009.
Bunch of young engineers and product developers work here trying to make new technology. It's a pretty magical place. Like, you know, we have enough of the right tools to build a satellite by Monday if that's what you need.
The way I've described Saul in Other Lab is to ask people to imagine what it would be like to visit Willy Wonka and his chocolate factory.
I'm not sure that all of the elves put their tools away this morning.
Or to visit maybe Thomas Edison in his labs.
So in here we have a tool room lathe, which is my spirit tool.
Because there's some mix of sort of fantastical, whimsical fun, and there's also very serious science and engineering happening.
We've got all sorts of projects here. Energy storage technologies. This is the guts of an autonomous drone for inspecting offshore wind turbines. Some innovations in rooftop solar.
Saul has always worked with his hands. I think that was where he initially tried to solve climate change. He's very aware of the clock ticking.
Before we got married, I said to Owen, as you know, half as a joke, you know, if by 2020 the world hasn't made sufficient progress on climate change, can I become an eco-terrorist? And she said no.
I said, well, what about if you start trying to, you know, working behind the scenes in politics, try to influence the policy and the laws and public opinion?
What's it going to take to get our president really fully on board with this?
In 2019, my friend Alex Lasky and I started Rewiring America.
What we need to show that tackling this challenge does not involve sacrifice and pain.
For as long as the country has existed, people have been heating their homes by burning first wood, then coal, then oil, and now gas.
I had been interested in energy flows forever, and I convinced the Department of Energy to fund us to do a study mapping in the greatest detail all of the energy flows from the supply side to oil platforms, coal mines, gas pads, all the way to the machines at the end. So your toasters and your cars and your ovens and your air conditioners.
I think looking at all the data was when he realized how important electrification was.
By Saul's count, 42% of all emissions in the US economy come down to decisions that are made in everybody's homes. We have to change the way we heat our homes and heat the water in our homes, et cetera, by replacing those fossil burning machines with efficient electric machines that are powered by renewable energy.
We have to get 50% reductions by 2030 to stay on target for a climate target we want. So it's go time for the stuff that works. And if we do all of that as fast as we can, we buy ourselves enough time for the big science funding to come in and create the solutions for steel, for long distance air travel, for agriculture, because they're not ready yet.
You remember Fight Club?
When Saul and I began work on what would become Rewiring America, electrification was not to be found in the policy ideas in the United States.
He is Tyler Durden.
And so we had to become a lobby group that could write policy based on science and data.
Yeah.
That was what was required to then take on the gas industry and the oil industry, and then we just relentlessly fought the science-based argument for the regulatory and policy reforms required to decarbonise. It's very concrete. The next time you buy a stove, it has to be electric so you're not burning natural gas anymore. The next time you buy a water heater or a space heater, they have to be electric, not natural gas. The next time you do your roof, you have to put solar. As the new White House came in, they had an ambitious climate team. We got a seat at the table in figuring out what the climate policy would look like. These machines are relatively expensive to buy, but cheap to run. So
we had to come up with some new financial ideas for how the government could help households.
An enormous amount of the work that Rewiring America did ended up in the climate bill. Things like rebates are at the center of that legislation.
Listen to this, some $370 billion. This includes tax credits for solar panels, electric vehicles.
It took 18 months. It did finally get through, and it got through maybe predictably by the narrowest of margins.
Vice President Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote. The bill authorises the largest spend on climate action in US history.
We won that argument.
The fossil fuel lobby is not going to disappear. And so there's a lot of work still to do in spite of this great victory.
It's a huge political victory. Was it enough? No. That like on day one when we were asked how much is it going to cost, we did the math and with like, 2 to 4 trillion, and we got less than that, $500 billion. So it's not quite enough, but it's certainly a great start.
I want to toast to Rewiring. Here's all of you.
In late 2020, we decamped from San Francisco and moved to the northern suburbs of Wollongong.
Pretty much as soon as we had moved here, Saul jumped into trying to translate Rewiring America into something like Rewiring Australia. Saul's been consumed with this topic pretty much the entire time I've known him, but certainly...
I'm sorry, love.
I mean, it's the latest show of our times, really. It's been really exciting to be here and feel like there's an appetite for change.
Saul had the vision for a fully electrified suburb. We all just said, great, let's make it here.
You come on the bike.
Our group's called Electrify 2515. That's the postcode of the community where we all live. We started by looking for about 500 people who would be up for converting all their home's appliances to electric alternatives and powering them using solar and batteries on their house. We put a website together pretty quickly.
The race is on to create Australia's first electric suburb. Soon, households in the 2515 could have the opportunity to join a generously subsidised program.
Our house doesn't have a gas connection, so we started electric and we've gotten more electric. We've got a beautiful sunny roof, so we've got 10 kilowatts of solar installed. We've switched into positive territory with the amount of energy we use, so we're paying nothing. The only two things we don't have are we don't have an electric vehicle and we don't have a battery. The cost on them is coming down.
All right. Yeah, this is an induction cooktop. Thought I was going to miss gas cooking. I don't. It's really fast. It literally boils a pot of water faster than a gas stovetop. We won't have a lot of renters attending because we've only got 4% renters responding to the survey.
The wonderful thing about the volunteers of 2515 is they've been able to sort of guide and run this local experiment.
Okay, so we're moving on to events organisation and update. So Ali's going to give us an update on the venue.
It's at the Thurrool Community Centre.
Our group gets together every 2 weeks or so usually.
Plenty of room for standing, so people have got kids, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We went into this having absolutely no idea if we were going to get 10 people willing to kind of take part, and we got 500 people within 4 days. And so we're planning a community forum to help kind of raise awareness of the real concepts behind it.
Trent and I are currently working on some graphics at the moment based around the 6 appliances, and then the cost comparison between the electric version and the fossil fuel version.
The real aim of the campaign is to get as many people as we can to prove out how this can work at, a power grid level. But also we want to be able to show the nation that this works.
So with this one is the hot water.
It's just wonderful to see local action. And I think lasting political action actually starts to happen when you can make it sort of bottom up happen from the community soul.
Thank you again for coming here. So Lara and myself are part of the Electrify 2515 team. For me personally, I've felt a lot of climate despair. But when I came across Saul's concepts of widespread electrification, I didn't just feel a sense of hope. It's something that also gives the power to individuals and to communities to create change.
All right, without further ado, our fellow 2515er and the Spark Ignited program.
You know, every time Saul gets in front of the room, you can feel everyone have a lot of fresh energy for, this is a good idea, isn't it?
I've been talking about climate energy and electrification for about 20 years all over the world to all sorts of audiences, and this is the most intimidating one by far. Because you're my neighbours, and if we screw up, you literally know where I live. All right.
I was so excited when he moved back to Australia. It's a fantastic bit of intellectual property to reclaim for the country, I reckon.
That would be, really interesting.
Again, that's the type of follow-up that let's do. So I'm a local Wollongong City Councillor. I'm 100% open to this because this is a community-led initiative. Why wouldn't you support a community that wants to go out on their own and do this?
The upfront cost of doing all of these things at once is high, and it's definitely out of the reach of most Australian households. And that's why we need to get a subsidy for this campaign to bring a lot of that forward.
In 2023, when we did the first Australian story, Rewiring America was riding high. We were going to lead a $2 billion home electrification project.
I got to talk to the Senate, the White House, and people on the street to get the word out. Because I can run on electricity to get the fossil fuels out of your house and cut your bills all at the same time.
And we were on the verge of and already partnering with a lot of really wonderful organizations to get tools, information, and special offers out to households across the U.S.
The money had already been appropriated by Congress, already pushed through into the bank account to go and do the projects.
But then Donald Trump won the 2024 federal elections here.
The Trump administration is rolling back long-standing federal regulations on greenhouse gas emissions.
The election was hugely impactful on Saul's work. There's been just a tectonic shift in the willingness to work on climate projects.
We knew upon the election of Donald Trump that there would be an embrace of the fossil fuel industry.
We will drill, baby, drill.
But also, the administration has taken a pretty aggressive cut at all scientific research.
We're shrinking our footprint in San Francisco substantially. It's slim pickings for science and R&D these days in the US. We're going to rent a smaller space in San Francisco, and this building, which my wife and I are lucky enough to own, we're renting out to an AI company because that's the hot thing, obviously.
Rewiring lost its giant contract with the EPA.
One is entitled to ask how these organizations are qualified to receive $2 billion of taxpayer money from the Biden administration.
You know, we woke up one day to find that our bank account had been frozen by the administration. And so we are fighting those in the courts. We are fighting that fight.
Do you know what I am?
In spite of the political headwinds, things at Rewiring America remain quite bullish. We have the facts and the numbers on our side, and eventually we'll win. I am inspired by hearing about all of the progress that is happening elsewhere.
When we first started out in 2023, we really were trying to create a fully future community that meant that we wanted it fully funded for households to participate. So all their home to be electrified, looking at things like electric vehicles, home and community batteries, solar arrays.
There was a lot of convincing to do to the government to say, like, we're a community group, but we're not kidding. We think there needs to be a pilot project that actually demonstrates what this future looks like. Showing how much it saves to replace each appliance with electric alternatives and what the practical action is that's going to get us closer to zero emissions.
Australia's Renewable Energy Agency, ARENA, agreed to fund us. What we came out with, it didn't have all the elements that we would have liked. They funded 500 homes in our local area to replace the 3 main gas users in their home. So that's their gas hot water system, their gas heaters, and their gas cooktop.
The hot water was the thing that we were
most reluctant to leave behind. Yeah.
Well, you got a nice big system there, so I reckon you're going to be fine.
I'm sure it's going to be fine.
The thing that I've loved about the work that we do is so many individuals and community groups reach out and say, how do we start something like this happening?
So for most people taking part, the subsidy that they can get is up to $1,000 off the cost of a new appliance. And then it's about $2,000 a year that people are saving by getting rid of gas and powering it cheaply and efficiently.
There's some other participants in your street too, aren't there?
I believe so. Like, I have a friend across the road. I think he's getting kind of like a load of stuff. And then once it reaches a certain threshold, then suddenly everybody wants to be on board.
Things have moved a lot faster in the last 2 months. We started with 10 homes. Since then, we're up to 140 on our way to getting 500 homes upgraded as part of the project.
One of the best outcomes of the 2515 project has been that it felt like we've changed the national conversation to showing that households matter. And there's over 100 groups across Australia now doing similar sorts of work.
Oh, cool. Those are tiny.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We really wanted to work out how can we better support householders so they can make informed decisions, so sources of information that's backed by data, that's backed by research.
So Saul, meet Electric Saul.
We thought it might be fun to use AI to create a Ask Saul service that's going to give everyone the ability to ask Saul, or at least a robot version of him, how they can get these upgrades for their own home.
But it's all your work put into a tool that can help people work out the next thing they need to electrify. So let's check it out.
People literally come up to us on the dog beach and say, hey, what water heater should I get? Which battery do you use? People want to talk about these things.
Hi, I'm virtually Saul, or would you rather call me Sim Saul or Soulmate? Whatever you call me, know that I have all the knowledge and experience of Saul Griffith, except I can be in 1,000 places at once.
I think, honestly, I'm just worried about what my children and their friends are going to think of me, and they're going to absolutely tear shreds off me for having, AI Saul.
I like it when I have to talk instead of typing.
That's good.
Hey, Saul, do you reckon I should get a resistance hot water heater, or do you think I should go heat pump? Even with excess solar, heat pump water is more efficient. I like this guy already.
It's about understanding how to find the right installer for what they need, how to navigate the complexity of government rebates. So it's all those support mechanisms.
Oh, I'm going to ask it a meta question. Hey, mate, do you think Australia is adopting electric appliances and vehicles fast enough to limit warming in the world to 2 degrees?
Saul thinks the road ahead is not going to be an easy one.
No. Australia's current rate of adoption for electric appliance vehicles is likely not fast enough to limit global warming to 2 degrees. That's the tragedy. That's why we're doing what we do.
But, we have kids. We have, a future that we care very much about. And I don't think he's planning on giving up.
3, 2, 1, fly!
Let go.
I can find many reasons for hope. There are a lot of large trends, sometimes economists call them mega trends, that are just irreversible. And electrification is one of those things. Australia has done some good things.
You got it.
But it requires a steady drumbeat from all of the little community groups and all of the civil society organizations. Like, we know this is a better future, can we go over here? And looking like they have enough numbers behind them that the politicians feel comfortable having more ambition.
Water is so good.
I know, it's perfect. We should come down here more often.
We're still proving as a species to be our own worst enemy. We need this beautiful natural world around us. It's our cocoon. We fly through space on this magical marble, and it's the biology around us that keeps us alive, and we're not doing the right thing by that biology. It's just crazy.
He looks approachable. He's wearing my favorite t-shirt.
Hi, I'm virtually Saul. Would you rather call me Sim Saul or Soulmate? Whatever you call me, know that I have all the knowledge and experience of Saul Griffith.
It's kind of like they gave it Hugh Jackman's voice with sort of my face. Once.
It's not the worst.
Oh, man. The kids are going to die laughing.
Oh, they are going to die laughing.